When we look at the problems in our world, from political polarization and conspiracy theories to medical misinformation and cultural confusion, we often blame greed, ignorance, and the abuse of power. But there's something deeper at work. A root cause of many of our problems is the mishandling of evidence. Now, that might sound abstract, but think about it. Our whole grasp of reality, what's true, what's false, what's right to do, depends entirely on how we treat evidence. And yet, as a species, we are remarkably bad at it. Let's start with a simple truth. Human beings are not designed to think purely rationally. We're designed to survive. Evolution gave us quick intuitions, emotional reasoning, and tribal loyalty because for most of human history, belonging to a group mattered more than being correct. But those same instincts, the ones that once kept us alive, now make it difficult to see the world as it truly is. Think about how people form opinions today. We scroll through social media, we read a few slogans, we feel a surge of emotion, and then we believe. Rarely do we stop to examine the evidence carefully. We don't ask where a claim comes from, what data supports it, or whether we might be wrong. Instead, we really gather information the way a lawyer gathers witnesses, not to discover the truth, but to win an argument. And that right there is where civilizations begin to fracture. Mishandling evidence takes many forms. It can mean ignoring inconvenient facts. It can mean over-interpreting data, drawing conclusions far beyond what the evidence justifies. It can mean cherry-picking, keeping what confirms our view and just discarding the rest. And it can mean treating weak evidence as if it were certain. Philosophers John Locke and David Hume warned us against this centuries ago, urging us to proportion our belief to the strength of the evidence. But we rarely do. We tend to give total assent to whatever feels right and total rejection to whatever doesn't. Handling evidence responsibly isn't just an intellectual skill. It is a moral one. It requires humility, the willingness to listen before judging, to seek understanding before responding. How we treat evidence says something about our character. It reveals whether we love truth more than comfort and understanding more than self-justification. To handle evidence rightly is to live in harmony with the truth. And for those who believe, truth is nothing less than a reflection of the mind of God. Science has been humanity's best tool for disciplining our biases. It says, test it, measure it, replicate it, submit it to peers. But even in science, people are tempted to fudge results, exaggerate findings, or ignore data that doesn't fit the hypothesis. Outside of science, in politics, media, and everyday life, the guardrails are even weaker. We often elevate emotion above fact, identity above reason, and certainty above truth. The cost of mishandling evidence is enormous. In medicine, lives are actually lost. In journalism, reputations are destroyed. In politics, nations turn against themselves. The consequences are not theoretical, they're everywhere around us. So why do we mishandle evidence? Partly because of cognitive bias. Psychologists have mapped dozens: confirmation bias, motivated reasoning, the Dunning-Kruger effect. These shortcuts were efficient for survival, but are dangerous when accuracy matters. And partly because of desire, we want our beliefs to justify our choices. We want our tribe to be right, and we want the facts to be on our side. Mishandling evidence isn't just a thinking problem, it's a human problem. It takes courage to follow evidence wherever it leads, and that's sometimes uncomfortable. So, what can we do? Well, we can start by cultivating what philosophers call intellectual virtue. That means not just being informed, but being honest. It means caring more about accuracy than about ideology. It means being willing to admit uncertainty, to say, I just don't know, and to change our minds when the facts demand it. There are habits that can help. Slow down. Don't rush to judgment. Truth can wait. Read widely. Expose yourself to thoughtful disagreement. Ask better questions, especially the ones that challenge your own assumptions. And check your emotions, because strong feelings are not evidence. And most of all, be willing to revise your views. Changing your mind is not weakness, it's a mark of integrity. Truth, after all, is not something we invent. It's something we discover. When we distort evidence, we don't just make intellectual mistakes, we weaken the foundations of shared reality. To handle evidence with care is to act with respect towards the world itself, to honor what is. Perhaps the greatest need of our time is not more information or more intelligence, but better stewardship of evidence. When evidence is handled rightly, it leads to truth. When truth is followed, it leads to wisdom. And finally, wisdom leads to peace. If you found this video thought-provoking, share it with someone who values truth. And remember to keep asking good questions.